I watched an anime recently which is called Onihei. It's an extremely high quality, great series. A very good, solid recommendation. It's focused on what is pretty much police in Japan during Edo period, which Wikipedia says it's from 1603 to 1867. It's got blood, drama and some very minor comedy. What is it about? Heizo Hasegawa is the leader of Theft Arson Control Brigade. There aren't really any arson cases shown here, but it's probably just because the series is so short. What it does focus on is thievery. There are plenty of thieves, burglars and altogether ruffians around the place. Edo is a dangerous place. What did I like? I liked just how much effort went into this. For one, obviously the story. For lack of a better word, I would call it Japanese. I just do not know how to call it. There's this blatant disregard for life which is extremely common then. Seppuku I'm sure everyone knows about, the ritual suicide. Here though, it's not just some stuff like, oh no, I must keep my honor because my master is gone. Instead, it's pretty much whatever happens, everyone involved is always dismembered, killed on the spot or imprisoned when judged and then killed too. This mentality is entirely bizarre to the current society, and I would think so at least, but it is interesting to observe. It does add to danger and stakes of everything, as at any moment anyone can die. And in fact, one of the early episodes is about an assassin going after the titular character and getting close to ending him. It's all extremely dramatic and, well, Japanese. Yeah, I can't come up with a better way to say it. And really, everything is tied into that. It's good because it's so much of that, but obviously animation as well is pretty good. The voices are good. I was especially loving episode 2. It has a particular person voicing the character there, and I love her voice. I just do. There is a megalobox lead in this, who is, it turns out, voices a lot of roles, but mostly side characters, so I couldn't recognize him most of the time. Just as there are a lot of love and care put into this. One particular thing I noticed was the mouth flaps. If you look at animation, usually you can tell whenever something is a little lazy and when it's not by how it's talking done. Can even do it with comics. If it's just open or closed, then animation is blatantly lazy. Great example of that is in comics is Control-Alt-Del. It's always that gaping mouth. In Onihei it's multiple frames and different little touches here and there. Mouth twists and turns with little different sounds they make. That sort of thing is surprisingly rare, and I guess it's mostly irrelevant, but it's attention to something this small that screams, I put my soul into this, and it's definitely showing. And really, I didn't dislike anything. It's too good to complain about anything except one thing, the CGI dummies. That is basically present in every single anime since 2011. Some worse than others. For whatever reason, they use the same exact animation dolls which always look horribly unnatural. Here they definitely try to blend them well and cut quite a bit, without letting the shot linger on the awkwardness. But it's still noticeable if you look for it. Corner of the eye is where it should be and never looked at directly, but aside from that, the only other complaint is length. This kind of series and content would have been fine in 26 episodes. They instead did it in 13, which I assume they tried really hard to pace well, and they do. I'm just saying that it could have been longer, and I would have probably enjoyed it more. And if you search for it, and in my case, Wikipedia, Onihei is actually a big series in Japan. Well, obviously, but what I mean is what it was a series of books written in the 60s up to the 90s, so it has some history behind it as well, with movies, TV dramas and plays. This anime is more like a tie-in, just another one in line. And the anime series could probably be used as a gateway into more of that world of Japanese media. To be honest, I was a bit curious about checking some live-action stuff before, but it's a bit difficult to look for. It's not really readily available outside Japan. Maybe if I ever learn Japanese... Ima wa nihongo ga hanasemasen. That's as far as it goes. So I would recommend it and say to watch, share it and talk about it, because this is exactly the kind of thing anime needs more of. Mature, adult series with actual dedication, care and passion put into the work. Instead of boobies in your face and, oh, I'm just your typical Japanese school student. Shit for the umpteenth time. Or maybe I'm just salty adult and want to relate to things. Yeah, whatever. It's good. That's what matters.